Welcome to the Harmony and Humanity podcast, where we're all about highlighting the common ground we all share, inspiring conversations that lead to real world harmony and understanding. Your hosts are Dr. Amethyst Herrick, holla,
Hey, hey girl,
Jasmine
hey,
Vine, yeah,
Jasmine by not a
in the
doctor. Hi.
house.
and myself, Dr. Lino Martinez. We are three transgender humans combining science, spirituality, and lived experience, all with the purpose of showing that we have much more in common than what separates us. In today's live stream, oh my goodness. Well, I wasn't here in last week's live
I
stream, but
know.
brush us up. What are we going to be talking about today?
All right, well, so here was the summary. So we started off. We were talking about should sex and gender be taught in the classroom, and the comedy of it is that I don't think we ever actually answer that question. Should we teach?
Didn't we?
No, I don't think we talked about it in the about doing it in the classroom. What we talked about was whether or not the biggest points we made was that when queer children grow up without knowing that there are other people like them, it's what did I say without? I hope I said without. When we grow up and we don't learn that there are people like we are, it's very traumatic. And it's not traumatic in the way that we feel our actions are bad, but the way that we people, like as people, are bad. And so we left off with what should parents do here? Are parents supposed to be doing this? What's the role of parents? And that's a pretty big topic. So
That
that
is
was
an excellent topic.
that's the topic.
Well, we'll happily ask each other loads of questions, and if you're joining us live, we'd love to make it interactive. You have the power to do the stream, to drive the stream, what in the world, in whatever direction you want. If you're catching the replay, we'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments section below. Now let's get to this juicy topic, shall we?
Let's do it.
Oh
Let
yeah.
me start off. I'm seeing three people already. We got Margie
Oh,
is in the
great.
house here. Hey, Margie.
Hey, Margie.
Hey.
Oh
We
yeah.
also have Mischief, one of my favorites. I called her my best friend
Mischief.
just yesterday, I think it was.
Oh, wow,
So,
how nice.
well, actually, for what it's worth, I said, you're my best friend right after Jasmine. So I don't know if
Oh.
that helps.
What?
But,
Oh.
right?
Rude.
And
My
also
gosh.
Morgan. Morgan's here as well. Hi, Morgan.
Hey, Morgan.
My
Okay.
friend and sister Morgan.
Oh, I need to talk to you, Morgan, but just we'll talk about that after.
Right, reach out afterward. All right. Anybody want to start? Because there is so much to talk about here. Um, actually, I'm sitting on my hands. Can I start? Can I start? Okay.
Please do.
All right. So,
And I'm gonna turn my dehumidifier off. One sec.
of course, like you two. I was talking with Jasmine earlier. Uh, my parents were not very supportive of me when I was growing up, and continued really not to be supportive of who I am. Um, really my whole life. My wife's parents are sort of going down the same route as well, and I finally had to like lay down some sort of a boundary, and say, listen, I don't. The things that you believe are not the things that I believe, and as a result, I don't feel completely safe around you. And so I bring this up because, in my opinion, like I think that that's kind of the purpose of parents. I think it's the purpose of parents to to make the changes that keep a family together. Because as a child, I didn't ask to be born. I didn't want this. I didn't ask for it. You gave this to me. You imposed this upon me, and I expected my parents to make the changes necessary to keep me, safe and happy and whatever else you need to grow up normally. All right, that was a big bomb there. Anything? What do you think?
Jasmine, what do you think?
Ooh, ugly.
Well,
Were your parents supportive?
oh my gosh. Were my parents what my mum definitely was,
Yeah.
if a bit clueless, but hold on, that's a different topic. Because yeah, the role of a parent, I feel like there's often this conflict where parents think that they're doing the right thing
Right,
for their kids, but from the kids' perspective, they're not so much.
right.
And I think that's a perfect example of that. I think, do you actually, throwing back to you, do you think your parents were doing the best that they could within their own moral compass, what they thought was right, what they thought was going to be best for you?
Hmm. There were two ways that you put that, two ways that you asked that question. One was, were they doing the best they could?
Mm.
Were they doing the best they could? I don't know. When I'm coming at this as a parent myself, so if you don't know any of the three of us, I have a son now who's not quite 14, turning 14 in a couple of months. And when our son was born, I made some very dramatic changes. You know, I gave up a decades long heavy drinking habit. I started exercising regularly. I started meditating. I made a lot of changes, very significant changes. Along the same line, I mean, it didn't help everything because then I had to transition gender. And I transitioned gender not quite 3 years ago, not quite 3 years ago, which I think was the most difficult decision I ever made in my life. And I did all of these things because what I wanted to do was make sure that my son had an environment that was going to be right for him. And so I will say this much. If I was capable through the dissociative issues that I've had, through the anxiety, through the depression, through the gender dysphoria, if I was able to make all of those changes, I really fucking expected my parents to be able to pick it up for me. Did they do the best they could? I don't know the answer to that because I didn't see them make any changes. So maybe they did the best they could. And if they did, fair enough. It wasn't enough for what it's worth to do whatever it takes to make sure that their children feel that they're going to grow up in a world that will be safe for them. So, did that answer that, Jasmine? It was a little
Yeah.
uglier than I think you
Yeah.
might have expected, huh?
Yes, it was actually in a good way, in a good way, because I think, I don't know, what do you think they would say if you asked them?
God, another good question. I mean, my father died before our son was even born. Before I made any of the changes I did. You know, growing up, it didn't seem like he was very fond of me. At this point, I haven't talked to my mother in almost 2 years because the last time I talked to her, she misnamed me 3 times in about 10 seconds. So I don't know. I mean, I don't know. Part of me wants to reach out to my mother and go, look what everything that I was able to do for my kid. How come you couldn't? And I guess I don't know. You know, I have this very strong opinion that this is our purpose as parents. And I don't know what she would say about it. I think she would say she did do everything she could for us, for all four of my, my three sisters and me. But I don't know. I don't know. Um, in order to pull the spotlight just a little bit off of my parents, there's another way that I think that you also put it as parents trying to do what they think is right. And I
Yeah.
guess I wonder how much should a parent's ethics, religion, how much should all of this be imposed on children?
Mm. It's a big question.
Hmm.
It is.
Lino, what are your thoughts? I don't know if you have kids or not. I haven't actually asked you that.
I don't have any kids. No, I mean I've got two cats. I mean they're handfuls. So yeah, I've got furry kids. You know, one that just took a shit in the box. I can hear it and smell it right as we speak. So rather than cleaning
Saved,
diapers, I'll be doing the pooper scooper right after that.
saved for
Oh my
posterity. Thank
gosh.
you.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, no, I don't. But my cousins have kids, and I spent this weekend in Mexico with my family after a reunion after over 20 years with some kids. They have kids.
Wow.
Yeah, so I'm around kids. I love kids, and yeah,
Wait,
that's
how
what.
was it at this family reunion? I don't think I heard about the reunion. It was in Mexico,
Yeah,
even?
yeah, I was there
Cool.
for Friday through Sunday, and there's
Okay.
family members that I last saw maybe 20 years ago, and
Damn.
yeah, I
Wow.
mean they all know about my changes through social media.
Yeah.
And so I wasn't misgendered. I mean, I guess because now I'm so passing, there's
Yeah.
really nothing to misgender at this point. So yeah, it was nice. Thank you for asking.
Hmm.
That is awesome. So it was just like going like you had gone to a family reunion 20 years ago as Lino?
The I'm sorry.
Well, like the last time they had seen you, you may as well have just
Yeah.
been Lino. So I realized that was said poorly, but
Well, the last time you saw me, I was Carolina.
well, sure.
So yeah. So I mean, this is the first time they all pretty much met me
Wow.
this way. So.
Were they
It wasn't
cool?
odd at all. It
Okay.
wasn't at all odd at all. And I think because I'm at a point in my life where, I truly value where I'm at and what I've gone through, and because I love myself and I'm not showing insecurity with that.
Yeah.
So if you show up that way with family members and you're smiling and you're hugging them and kissing them on the cheek the way you did 20 years ago, there's nothing to be afraid of, and there's no shame in that. And I'm just showing them that I am who I've always been. And I know that's going to be really challenging for some trans people to hear, but who I've been, meaning this energy that was always within me, hasn't changed. Maybe my appearance has changed, but this energy is the same.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mhm.
Ooh.
I do wonder, Lena, if were your parents accepting when you told them about transition or anything?
Well, I'll tell you this much: they were not accepting as when I came out as a lesbian, as a little kid.
Mm.
I first told them I liked girls when I was like 10, and then I mean, to make the long story short, because I kept coming out and telling them that I liked girls, and then by default, I say by default, I became bisexual for a while because everyone kept pushing me to be with guys. I'm like, all right,
Mm-hmm.
let me try it, let me try it, let me try it. Guess what? I still like girls. Let me try it, let me try it. I still like girls. So, I mean, but I mean, and I'm having fun now. Thanks for the option. So, I was kind of like having fun, double dabbing until I came into my, true identity and what authentically made me happy. But once I
Yeah.
came to this true identity and decided to transition, I really didn't tell them. I decided to do it because I was living in hospitals, and I just thought, this is the time to do it. And so I transitioned without really not telling anybody. And when I knew that changes were starting, then that's when I knew I had to tell them. And no, they weren't welcoming. They were afraid. They were scared. Their daughter is dead now. I heard that a couple times. So I made the decision to not really hang out with them for like the first 3 years because of fear
Oh.
of rejection. Yeah. In which those 3 years, my mother really found out that all the times that she pushed me out of wearing dresses and bows in my hair, that she felt she made a mistake and she was apologetic. And my father, it took him maybe a good 5 years to really get to know me and not be afraid of me. And I say afraid of me because that's what all of this is. It's fear when they don't accept you. And I
Right.
saw the fear in his eyes, and the tears in his eyes when his daughter was dead. And so I'm like, well, I'm pretty sure that human body that was identified as your daughter still has the same heart and the same intestines and the
Yeah.
same radiance.
Yeah.
So when you show people your radiance, I mean, the outside really won't matter at that point. But it took a while, and I want to piggyback off what Amethysta was saying. I feel a lot of your pain still, which is a-okay. It's absolutely okay to feel this way. Well, the question of did your parents do their best, and all what I do know from being a child and my parents still being alive, and also from what I study in psychology and also being very spiritual, is that people do their best in life no matter what, knowing with that point of level of awareness that they have at that point in their life. So, I mean, I'm certain that your mom did her best. And then you said there were four of you. I mean,
Yeah.
I can't even imagine there's one of me and I'm having a hard, I have a hard time. I don't even have kids. I can't imagine in my life right now having four. So people do their best that they can and to give attention to each child or even just one child. And a lot of the times they even choose to give attention to their child and they give up their own life, their own well-being, their own
Sure.
self-care.
Oh,
And when
sure.
people give up their own self-care, whether it's just getting your nails done or going to a restaurant for yourself and not everyone else doing something for you, you begin to lose what's authentic for yourself and even your own identity. So I cannot imagine how difficult it is for just to be a parent in general, let alone with so many different kids. And then one comes with saying they're this identity and it's a different generation. Like, how do they handle it? They do the best that they can with what they know and their level of awareness.
Yeah.
That's the way it is with anything in life. Everyone's doing the best that they can with their level of awareness. Because once you become aware of something, fully aware means that you have an epiphany. Fully aware means that now you understand. And when now you understand, there's even changes in your brain. And when there's changes in your brain and your neurotransmitters and chemically you're changing, then that's when the level of awareness, a hyper awareness comes along. And when that happens, that's when your heart opens up. And that's when there's acceptance and love. So when there's a lot of people or parents what to do, it's because of their level of awareness and level of self-love, honestly. Open
Mm.
up your self-love and you start to open up that level of awareness.
We have a few comments that I want to get to, but I want to ask you a quick question, Lino. May not be quick. Um, the way you said it, you said that you were afraid of being rejected by your parents, and so you stayed away from them for 3 years, right? You said three
Hmm.
years.
About that, yeah.
Was that more or less rejecting them?
Absolutely. I mean, it's and not just not just rejecting them, but also rejecting myself. It's like, well, I'm coming into this new identity. I don't fully know myself yet, and because I don't fully know myself or where I'm coming, I'm afraid to fully be myself. And
Mm,
if I'm being fully afraid to be myself at this moment, even though I'm tiptoeing into self-love, it's gonna mirror back to me. And by doing that, I'm just gonna reject them. I'm just gonna put a wall up. So yeah, I put a
yeah.
wall up because had my wall been completely down and I'm coming in with this confidence that I have now, maybe it wouldn't have been 3 years.
I see. All right. I hadn't thought of it like that as a necessarily also a rejection of your own identity. That's a good point. So thank you for that.
Oh yeah, you're welcome. Thanks for listening.
Sure. Should we grab some comments? You want to hear some
Let's
comments?
grab something.
Grab some comments. All
A
right.
lot of people seem to be relating a lot. This
I
is really
know
beautiful.
it is. So Margie says, first of all, she's one of three moms of a toddler with no gender. I kind of like that. There's going to be a toddler who grows up and goes, yeah, anything goes. I appreciate that.
Yeah.
Good on you, Margie. So Margie also says we're all three gender nonconforming, and we are leaving them to tell us should they decide what their gender is. I think that's great, personally. I know that there are probably
Yeah.
people out there who will go, "No, that's the dumbest thing you should do. You're supposed to tell your children who they are."
You
That's the
know
problem, I
what?
think.
I would love to bounce off of that comment, like read the others, but I'd love to bounce off that comment for the next little bit.
No, do it. Why don't you do it now so we don't so we don't have to return? Go ahead.
Oh, no, I want to read the other comments though.
Oh, all right. So Grief Foundation, first of all, hi Grief,
I agree.
says he likes lesbians. You know who doesn't? You know what's funny? It's always when people go, "Oh yeah, homosexuality is weird." They're always talking about gay men. Like
Mm,
two girls kissing, nobody cares. Two girls kissing,
yeah.
people go, "Ooh, that's kind of sexy." Two men kissing, they go, "Ew, gross, icky."
Mm.
I don't know. This is something I've maybe you two haven't noticed. That is that the
Oh, definitely noticed it. It's
Oh yeah, I
totally
noticed it.
misogyny.
I was I was gonna say, is it just me?
Oh my
No, I
gosh.
noticed it, absolutely.
It's the same reason trans women get more outward hate than trans men typically.
Oh,
It's the
oh,
misogyny piece.
yeah. Oh, I see what you're saying because it. Wait, maybe I don't see what you're saying. Say it again.
Well, when they perceive someone who they think is a man in their eyes being feminine,
Oh, Oh,
or
okay.
having what they perceive to be feminine characteristics, i.e., they're attracted to men, then they get extra harsh kind of reactions from that.
Yeah. Okay. I get that. All right. So let's see. All right, so Zoe brings up. I think this came up when you were talking about when you were talking
Mm.
about your parents, Lino, because Zoe says sounds almost exactly like the conversation I tried to have with my dad, and him describing his son being dead. Morgan sends you a hug, which is good.
Thank you,
Hug,
Morgan.
yeah, hug from Morgan is a big, huge hug. So
I love it.
I know.
Hugs right back at you.
All right, Miss Chief says she had an epiphany, a few epiphanies actually. I'm not sure what they are, but I hope that they were really good.
Yeah, what are those epiphanies? Those
Yeah,
epiphanies.
throw those in there.
Like,
All right, and then Margie says her relationship. She's put it in asterisks, so I'm figuring this is sarcasm. My relationship with my mom was already deader than a doornail for a decade. Can I just repeat that? Already deader than a doornail for a decade.
better than a doornail for a decade. That's nice to
I
say.
know.
Yeah, that'd be a
If
great book title,
Better than a doornail for
ooh,
a decade.
already
right?
deader than a doornail for a. No, I screw it up.
And
Than
it
a doornail for a
can
decade.
Dorney. There you go, Dorney.
So maybe not a great title for a book, but all right. And so it says my relationship was already deader than a doornail for a decade, and my dad was literally dead for 20 years. It flows so well. It's so poetic. Margie,
It
I know
is.
you didn't do that on purpose, but that was, well, maybe it did. Anyway, so Margie
I
says
mean,
all
it's
chosen
not a
family.
very like nice thing. I don't want to be like, oh, that's great. But the alliteration,
Yes,
is it alliteration?
the alliteration and the rhythm, like the way it scans, it was just beautiful. I love it. So I know it's
Rhythm is
not
gonna
happy.
get you. The rhythm is gonna get you.
Totally, right? It's got a good rhythm and
I
you can
feel like
dance
this
to
needs to
it.
be a poem.
Oh, I
Needs
was
to be a
hoping
poem.
Lino,
Anyway,
yeah,
sorry.
Lino, knock out a poem about conformity or something. If we go off the word conformity or something like that, something
Conformity.
like that.
I can do that.
Um, so okay, so Morgan says, did I get that? Oh, so Margie says it's all chosen family for her. Her nuclear family was a dangerous isotope. Yeah, yeah, you were living with polonium or something. Morgan says a lot of us became the parent or adult we needed as a kid. Yeah, I hear that a lot. It's interesting too, because obviously none of us is very good at it, right? Because we still feel pain.
I think we
Do
are.
you? Okay.
I think we are. Self-parenting is honestly one of the most important things for a mental health journey, in my opinion.
Oh, agreed.
Like, because being able to parent yourself, you know what all the things are that you were missing and all of those little things that you wish were different. Like, how would I behave in that situation
Mm-hmm.
where my parent, there was a rupture and there wasn't a repair? How would I repair that? And then you can repair that yourself better than anyone. Like that's a whole
If
nother thing. But
well, so I agree with you, and no doubt Lino's got a lot of thoughts on this.
oh, I can
Which
see it. I can
right,
see
which
it
is why I'm
bubbling.
talking over him. Like you do. Just pipe down a moment over there. My point was going to
Yeah,
be,
we're being so loud. We just keep talking. Oh my
we do.
gosh.
Um, I
Are
think
you?
that
Do you want me to say something?
no. Let me finish this really fast because I want to
Okay.
reply to what Jasmine's saying. The I think that we have the capability. I think that that's what we possess is the capability. We may not have the skills. I think that we have the understanding of the skills that we need, but we may still have to develop the skills. And I think that's what mental health issues bring to the equation because when you get taught, because I believe very strongly that my son should know that they're very valuable as a person, not for being my son, for being a person. I didn't get that as a child, but I still don't have a whole lot of like self value. I still struggle with that. So it's a skill I know I need to instill in somebody, but I don't think that means I have that skill. And I think that was all I was trying to say.
Okay.
That's all I'm
Thank
going
you.
to
Lino,
get.
take it away.
Thanks. Great. Wow.
Yeah. Thanks for sharing that.
Wow.
So yeah, I'm feeling thinking a few things here. So first off, coming again from a universal spiritual laws of the universe, however you want to say it, we're all choose our families when we incarnate here. We all do. And at the very end, we're going to be grateful when we all meet again. Whether you're religious or spiritual or not, we're all going to be there again. And I guarantee you, I've practiced and I've studied this for many years that we're all going to come together again when we leave this meat body
Yeah.
and we're going to be in our forever light form, which is what we are. We are internal light and we're in a third dimension. Everything in third dimension is physical form density. And this is how we're appearing in a dense form. When you take away this density identification, we all see that we're all one and that we all have united one and we all have made this choice. So with that, had we not had the parents we had or the no parents that we didn't have, we wouldn't be who we are today. These were all of the seeds that were planted to make us come
Oh,
into this
agreed.
life journey, either for our
Yes.
purpose, our soul's evolution, our soul's expansion, and to be able to come here with a mission. And this is part of our mission, obviously, which is why we're here at the same time in this perfect alignment. And if anything triggers you, these triggers are meant to come out, to be healed, to be fostered, to be loved, so that we could stop that either generationally or so that we could teach someone else about their own triggers. Whatever the thing is, everything that has happened to us has been for us for a positive reason. No matter how painful and how negative it feels, there is only one line, one spectrum, and there's only polarities of emotions. Other than that, it's the same frequency. It's the same line. We change it. We change the vibration based on the emotion that we give it. But they're just polarities of each other. They're the same thing. So pain and happiness is actually the same thing, but how do you want to transmute it and how do you want to
Mm.
define it and how do you want to live it?
I feel like that could be an episode in and of itself. I have so much I could say on
Yeah.
that.
Right.
Oh, goodness gracious.
Do you want me to keep going, by the way?
What's that?
Do you want me to keep going with the comments? Because we still haven't gone back
Yeah, I
to
love
you.
them. Bring them on. Bring them on.
All right, so Mischief, in response to what you were saying, Jasmine says, "Yeah, trans women get it tough, and it might seem easier for trans men, but trans men get lots of problems in different ways and get abused
Oh, yeah.
from men, get abused by men. Yeah, totally.
Yeah. That
Um,
I would honestly love to talk about at some point
yeah.
because I'm conscious that that can come across as me like saying, oh, trans men have it easier. No, they still
Oh,
get a lot of hate, and it's based on the same misogyny that trans women get the hate from. But it's in a more subtle way typically. Usually it's like, oh, this poor person doesn't know what they're doing, and oh, they've lost their daughter, and blah, like there's crap like that. And I feel like so much of it is rooted in misogyny. Maybe we can talk about that on a future episode.
yeah. I'd say write it down. Couple of other comments. Margie does mention she has a black belt in English. There you go.
Clearly.
This is a great comment, and something that actually I was talking with my sister about 3 hours ago. Laura, if you're out there, hi. I sent her the link. I don't know if she's going to be here, but I hope so. So Grief Foundation says Lino hit on something really interesting, that transition doesn't change the person inside. I'm unsure. But can we shelf that one? Because Jasmine, you said
Yeah.
you wanted to talk about
Yeah.
the gender.
I'm currently going to like write down the trans misogyny idea because I think, oh, well, actually, we've got misogyny written
Oh, well,
down.
there
I'm
you
going to
go.
add
All
in
right.
brackets trans misogyny. 'Cause
Just
I'd really
remember
like to
it.
talk about that.
I'm glad you're doing this on air.
Well, while she's doing that, can we piggyback off Miss Chief's last comment?
Yes, definitely. Let me read a couple of these. So this. Oh
Yeah.
wait, which one? About how difficult it is for transgender women or transgender men? Is that what you mean, Lena?
No, about how basically we are who we are inside doesn't change.
Oh yeah, yes. There's Grief Foundation. I think that's a
Okay.
great comment because you said, Lino, the person in the body changed shape. I can't remember how you put it, but the heart was the same, the light was the
The
same.
heart's the same. Yeah.
Yeah.
So some of the things that I get, like a comment. I think I was like by the beach partying, and I sent my cousin a video, and she sent me a video, a picture of her and I when I was a female, back when I was 26, so
Oh
almost 20
gosh.
years ago.
Yeah.
And we were partying and dancing. And she said something along the lines of, you know what I love about you is you always like bring in the light. You always know how to have a good time. That shows me that there's an element of me that has remained the same.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the element that I love about myself the most. And I guarantee you, I can guarantee this because I feel it true to my heart that the thing that you love about yourself the most has been the part that's been truest your whole life and that has been true to your energy.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
that's what needs to keep shining. And that's what you need to keep coming forth, pulling forth, and showing forth because that's what's magnetic. It attracts people because that's authenticity.
Yeah. I agree with you, Jasmine. You had a
Oh,
big reaction.
yeah, that just got me right there. Oh my goodness. Far out.
Why?
Well, because I'm thinking about the things about myself that I loved, but I wasn't allowed to love,
Hmm.
and
Now that
how
just got me. Okay.
mm, transition allowed me to love that openly. And
Yeah.
it was the thing that was always most authentic about me. Being denied from being allowed to lean into that was
Yeah.
what made me hate myself.
Yeah. It's a great point.
Wow. I need a poem on that, Lino.
Right there.
Oh,
Oh, love. It's been about a week since I've written a poem. So yeah,
Oh, dang.
give them to
Yeah,
me. Bring them to me. Bring it on.
definitely. Well, I I
I've had a
like
couple of
these
those recently.
the I love both of those thoughts. I love that what we love about ourselves continues to live on. And I love how you put it, Jasmine, that you were held back from being able to love the things that you knew you did, and that made you hate yourself. I mean, I think those are great, both great points. The way I talked about this with my sister was, and I've started doing this with my psychologist too, because we've used we're just using my old name for this. So when we talk about behavior, how do I want to put this? There are there's behavior that I would not even consider doing today that was common behavior 5 years ago.
Mm,
But and when I think about it, when I think about that behavior, I go, well, who would have done that? Because not me, but yeah, I guess me. Because same body, same
learned
heart.
behaviors to fit in? Like, what do you mean?
Sure. Well, no, I mean I'm talking more about destructive stuff. I mean,
Oh,
some of the ways I treated people were horrible, and I think about that today, and I just go, I don't know how I personally how Amethysta could ever have done that, and so it's been useful to talk about this with my psychologist and with my family to say I'm going to use my dead name here. Watch this. It's going to be crazy. But Lino, you just did. So, it's easier for me at this point to say Robert was a very angry and sad man. And Amethysta is not. Robert had behavior that was characteristic of angry and sad men. Amethysta, not being an angry, sad man, does not. Certainly, there are aspects of my identity that are the same, but I experience almost a like I I don't want to call it like dissociation, but like I look back on certain aspects of myself and just go, like how was I that person? How did that happen? And I just don't associate with them anymore. Even my memories of those things are starting to fade because I'm like, no, there's no way I could do that. Does that ring anything?
you
Does
know
that
what? Oh my gosh, I really want to go back to that comment to get onto the
we'll
subject.
get there.
But
We'll get there.
but I feel like that's a human experience. I want to broaden it a little bit
Oh, sure.
because moment you look back at a past version of yourself and cringe and go, what? How did I do that? Surely I wouldn't have, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah,
That just shows you that you've grown. That just shows you that the
true.
version of you who you are today, you're prouder of than that previous version.
It's a good point. I've just given it a different name, I suppose.
Mm.
I don't know. I don't think of it as
That's how I
just a.
always like to view that because I think people often will beat themselves up and they'll go, oh my gosh, I did this horrible thing
Mm-hmm.
and, I was blah, blah, blah. How could I have done that? And then I beat myself up for it. And it's like the very fact that I'm beating myself up for it means that I'm not that person anymore.
True.
So
Yep.
why am I punishing myself?
I think of it as a sort of parts therapy, I suppose.
I
Mm,
also feel that it's important to note that we treat people the way we treat ourselves. So
mm,
if you were being bad to people, you were being bad to yourself.
Oh,
There's just no
certainly.
way that you're going to be good to people if you're good to yourself.
mm,
I mean, it's the law of karma. It's a universal law, that of which the energy you put out, the energy you're going to receive, and vice versa.
Yeah.
It's a universal law. You can't run from it. I mean, no matter where you're at,
Right.
universally.
Right.
So I think people get caught up. We get caught up in this self-destructive pattern, blaming ourselves. It's come from a self-compassion. I wasn't aware that of who I was before, and this karmically, this is what happened because I was treating myself this way. And I forgive myself. If you need to forgive yourself, you don't have to if you don't need to. Simply, you are on a different vibration. You are on a new frequency. You've changed the channel from 103.5 to 104.3, and you can't judge love songs on the coast versus K Big, 104.3. You just can't. And so when you know you're on a different channel and a different frequency, you could just stay on that channel, and next thing
Yep.
you know, you're gonna be expanding on a different channel, or maybe occasionally go back to that other channel you used to be in. Either way, it's a preference of what helps you build your happiness and stay on that happiness.
Yeah. Hearing Los Angeles radio stations kind of made me go, oh,
Yeah, love songs on the coast. Coast
right?
103. Well, this is Karen Sharp here at Coast 103.5.
You're listening to radio
Oh
station
gosh.
KBIG, the biggest,
K Big. Yeah.
the biggest radio station for cheesy music. That's right.
Love it.
All right, let's go. Let's
I have no idea what any of those are.
right.
You
See
can
what?
YouTube it. Karen Sharp, Coast 103.5.
Also
Well,
go
how
live in Los
about I'll give
Angeles.
you one of the Australian ones, okay?
Yeah.
Yeah,
W.
sure.
Listening
Ready.
to 107.1 SAFM.
I
That's how they
love
do it.
that.
It's weird.
Are they
Do it.
love songs?
No, it's very like,
Oh,
I don't know
okay.
what it is nowadays, but it's very poppy.
Do it
But yeah,
again
but
though, because it gave me the shivers. Do it again. 107.
hold on, I gotta turn my noise suppression settings off.
Yeah.
You're listening to 107.1 SAFM.
I got the shivers again.
Oh
That's great.
gosh.
I
Well,
love
maybe
it.
that's why they do it. Is I don't know.
I know. You
I
should
always thought.
take up
ASMR.
take up radio. So many people have told me I have a good face for radio. So, other
Oh,
comments? Oh,
I've
Yeah,
actually been
comments.
thinking
not a.
about
It's not
doing
a true. It's not a true
some
joke.
sort of like voiceover work. I think voiceover work would be really fun.
That would be
For
fun.
Anyway,
wait for me or for you?
for me, I'd really
Oh
love to
yeah.
do voiceover work because I just start reading some random things in like news anchor
Oh
voices or
yeah.
whenever I'm at the shops. I'm like, thank you for shopping with the fresh food people. Please take your items. And I just
Right.
constantly, I love it.
You make up new characters all the time. I think that's why you and I get along personally. But
Oh my gosh. If like the people watching, if y'all could see our voice messages we send to one another, just random characters to it. Oh my gosh, we have fun.
oh gosh. All right, we have a bunch of other comments. Let me plow through some of these. So, Miss Chief, so we had said, hey, tell us what you mean by getting different. Or where was it? Epiphanies. Epiphanies. So,
Mm,
Miss Chief says loads of epiphanies. They're about family and work and loads of things, but ultimately having to do because she's a gender nonconforming person. So, to go back to the trans mask thing, so here we go. Trans men Sorry, I'm struggling here. It says trans men that are lesbians. There we go. Trans men that are lesbians. Wait a minute. Wouldn't that be they were straight? Oh, it's a hard topic. Trans men that are lesbians get sexually harassed by men because they think they can cure them. Well, actually, that's pretty common, right? Any
Where they think what?
lesbian,
Oh, yeah.
any
Yeah,
lesbian
What?
men are
What?
absolutely.
like,
What? What?
you just haven't been with me. When you get with a big man like me, I can cure you of that lesbianism. Did you ever get that, Lino, as the old lady?
If guys thinking they can cure me from being a lesbian?
Yeah.
Mm. You just
Um,
haven't tried the right
you know
penis.
what? I don't think so. I think that I was actively pursuing that to see if I could get it out
Oh,
of me. So I was
wow.
always the aggressor, even as a female. Like
Yeah.
I knew how to play the game. I
Yeah.
had the looks. I'll show some legs and a little cleavage, and buy me a drink, cutie pie, and let's see if you can show me what everyone else
Right?
is telling me you can
Sure.
show me.
Sure.
But I ended up showing them, so no.
Yeah. Yeah. That wasn't so ultimately the point wasn't to get it out of you. It was really more to I'm finished.
Oh,
I'm already seeing Jasmine's expression. I went, okay, I won't finish the joke.
Wait, what? I was responding to a comment.
Oh, were you?
It's all the bloody things about SAFM. Is it a kink? Oh,
No.
oh my
Well,
gosh.
when you did that, when you said
Wait, I'm
S
thinking
A F,
SA radio.
I heard S
Oh,
and M
okay.
and went, ooh. All right. Here we go. So Miss
Gosh.
Chief also says she thinks she hasn't changed. She thinks the term transgender is misleading. Uh-oh, it's going away. My gender has always been the same. It's my sexual characteristics that altered with HRT. I think that's an exceptional point. Although I think gender does include expression. So exactly how which includes a physical aspect, right? Our sex characteristics change, but I don't think gender is just our sex characteristics, right?
Mm.
Anybody? No?
yeah,
Keep running with it? All right.
yeah. Keep going.
Margie says authenticity matters and gives you a thumbs up.
Yeah.
So Miss Chief says that's what causes gender dysphoria, not being allowed to be how you naturally are as male, but it's okay for a female and vice versa. Yeah, that was the same thing, right? They would be like, oh, I wish
Sure.
I could like fairies, but I can't like fairies because I'm not a girl. If I could be a girl, if I look like that, I can like fairies. You and I had
I
something as
love fairies,
yeah. Oh, I know,
especially the
right?
ones where you got the little cord, you go, and they spin and fly. Oh, so cool.
I
It's
know.
toys.
See,
No
Lino's like,
Mm.
oh boy, we got to get more masculine energy in here.
worries. That's okay. That's all right.
So
I mean,
ends
I
by
love playing with my monster trucks. Oh,
right,
yeah.
and when I'm juggling, I'm always feeling happy for handling my balls.
I'm not
What?
dignifying that with a response.
There you go. All right.
Oh my
So
goodness.
Miss Chief ends by saying it's a lot more than just clothes and makeup. Definitely agree. Margie's telling me that I think my story had to do with Sisters of Dorley, that it's shades of the Sisters of Dorley. So the bit about how it seems like somebody else, yeah. Gosh, we have so many comments. Let me see. So Miss Chief then says another streamer named Mary says that people transition when they hit rock bottom. That wasn't quite true for Miss Chief, but rock bottom brought about the epiphanies. You know, yeah, you mentioned that once, Lino, that you were like, if I'm in a hospital, like if I'm going through all this anyway, like lay
Might
some
as well.
testosterone on me, right? Like may as well just do
Yeah,
it.
but that comment is generalizing because some people transition younger and some people get accepted right away, and it's like
True.
everybody's story is different. So I mean, for me, and to be super duper honest, because everything's just a polarity. If I really think about it, my rock bottom was actually my rock top because it took
Mm,
my rock bottom to get me to the top, which means ultimately it already was the top. So, I
wow.
mean, yeah, so without rock bottom, I wouldn't be where I'm at today, vice versa. And without the top, I wouldn't be without the bottom. Yeah.
Actually, I'm hearing what you're going with that. That's
I
pretty
mean,
good.
this is really profound and beautiful, but I'm also just laughing
I
internally
know. I almost
because
said something to that. I was like, you know what? I'm pretty much always the top, but
my
Right.
rock bottom was the top. Oh my
I'm
God.
usually the top anyway.
And so then to return
I could
what you did,
see you just like stifling the smile.
so to
Oh
return to the
goodness.
joke you said you didn't hear
Unreal.
then, Jasmine, Lino said, "Yeah, I tried to date men to get it out of me." And I said, "It wasn't that you were trying to get it out of you, you were trying to." And then
Get
I
it out of them.
no, you were trying to get it
Oh, for
into you.
goodness
That was
sake.
the
Oh, I got
oh, it was just not a good joke. I'm
Goodness
so sorry I
gracious.
brought that back. I
Oh
just want to
goodness.
apologize. I want to apologize to
Goodness.
all of our sponsors for that horrible joke.
Except for SAFM.
Yeah.
Who paid handsomely
Right.
for that
Oh my
product
Oh,
placement,
gosh.
no doubt.
oh, damn.
I
Okay,
don't even.
I
All
want to
right.
come back to the comments
Yeah,
because
okay, all right. Let's
I
come back
feel
to it.
like we are getting close to an
Way
hour
off.
and we
Talk
are
about it.
so off
Go,
topic.
go,
Goodness
go.
gracious. Now, okay, which one was it? It was Margie saying we're all three gender non-conforming
Yeah,
and we're leaving them to tell us should they decide what their gender is. I want to piggyback off of that because I think a lot of parents on the conservative side would go, oh, no, that's ridiculous. Like, why
right.
would you do that? You're confusing your children and blah, blah, blah. And I would like to dissect that a little bit.
That was supposed to be our purpose.
Specifically, huh?
That was supposed to be the topic anyway, so
Exactly. Hence why I'm bringing it back.
46 minutes into the
Goodness
hour. Yeah,
Oh,
no.
darn.
I know. Now, what comes to my mind as well, like piggybacking off of that, is expectations. I
Yeah,
know I'm thinking like as an INFJ, my goodness, it's something that I think I would really struggle with as a parent. And actually, I'm going to read you a little bit, like because this is what it reminded me of. At times, people with the INFJ personality type may hold their children to unrealistic standards that don't take into account each child's personality or stage of development. They might expect their child to model the same integrity and honesty they expect from themselves, becoming dismayed whenever their child behaves in a way that they perceive to be ungenerous or unethical. They might push their children to be independent, creative, unique, seeing it as a concerning trend if their child craves external guidance or wants to stick to the status quo. That really calls me the heck out. I don't have children, but I think if I was a parent, I would struggle with that quite strongly because I'd be like, I want them to be ethical. I want them to be truthful. I want them to have a strong moral compass and all of this. And I would find it really difficult to respect the child's individuality and respect that they know what's best for them, respect that they will go through their own trials and tribulations. They will have their, learning experiences through doing and all of that. Because for me, I'm like, oh, I want the best for you. Like, I've been through that and I know that that leads to this. And I'm like, no, like, I want you to skip that and yada, yada. I can already tell I would struggle with that a ton. And I think a lot of parents struggle with that, where they see the mistakes or what they view to be mistakes as like, oh my gosh, I don't want my kid to go through those mistakes. Like, just skip that. Here, I'm telling you what's best for you. Do you relate to any of this, Amethysta?
oh, absolutely. I would also
Asking
want.
the parents on the call.
Oh, got it. Okay, because I was gonna say, I honestly, I think I'd challenge that of you, that you would
Oh, okay. Please
struggle.
do.
Yeah, I mean, I think I would because the three things you listed, and could do you mind writing? One of them was anything unethical. When you saw them do anything unethical, ungenerous, there was one
Mm.
more.
Blah, blah, blah. Independent, creative, unique. Um,
Yeah, down
I
notice
think that's
down.
the main two.
All right. Well, because the thing, what one of the things anyway, it said when they were being unethical, ungenerous, and there was a third one that was there. Those are so broad. Like, I think
Yeah.
there's a distinction
They're
between
subjective
they're
as
subjective,
well.
but what I would guess would be that if you said, well, ethical, if you're are you hurting somebody? Okay.
Mm.
Like, I think we're cool. I don't know that I would challenge that, because I just knowing you as a person, you seem like one of the more accepting people I know, and I know you're going to go, I don't accept that. But I don't know. I think it's different when you're a parent, cuz I'm much more interested in seeing my kid be successful than having him model himself after me. Oops, I'm
Mm.
themselves, having them model themselves after me. I don't want my kid to grow up the way I did. I made so many mistakes and it was not good. I don't want my kid to be similar to me at the end of the day. And I believe that, you would want to have children of your own, do everything like you're saying, be creative, be independent. So, anyway, I think that's all I would say.
Okay.
But there's a
I
difference as well
mm.
to saying, I want you to be creative and independent and I want you to express yourself, and then go, so long as it's within the Christian ethics and does exactly what the Bible says, because remember,
Mm.
there are only two genders, like it says in Genesis, male and female, as God created them, and nothing else. And you're never going to do anything else other than what I tell you you're supposed to do within this realm of Christian ethics. And there you go, done. Otherwise, go out and be your own person, which is kind of what we hear.
Yes, I think I would struggle in the same way with certain things. For instance, like oh my gosh, I've been vegan for like 13 years or something at this point. I would find it really difficult if my kid decided, oh, I'm going to become a carnivore. I'm going to eat
That's
only
true.
meat. I'd be like, oh, God. Violence. But I feel like that's a same kind of thing. I don't think I would push it on my kid. I'd be like, yeah, you can choose to do whatever you want to do. I want to make sure that you're informed and making the right decision for you and yada yada. I think I would absolutely be like that, but it doesn't mean I wouldn't struggle with it.
Oh, I'm with you.
And I
Yeah.
think, yeah, like that's the thing. I think a lot of people, I'm thinking of an example of a couple of parents in a business mastermind I was in a while ago, and they were talking about their daughter who has gotten really into drugs. She's been on a massive bender, 5 years,
Whoa.
really struggling with her life. And they're like, I'm actually thinking of Breaking Bad as well, because it's a similar kind of situation where like the parents are prim and proper and they're like, good family values, yada, yada, and really strong on that. And then their kid is just going through this like thing where it seems totally opposite to what they're going through. And they want to push those values on her. They're like, why can't she like be like us? Why can't she learn from what we're doing? And she can't handle her money and she's struggling with this addiction and yada yada. But Uncle Joe, had a couple of blunts in his teenage years and he's gotten away from it and yada yada. And they're like comparing all these things. And I think a lot of parents do that, where
Mm-hmm.
they'll judge their kids for going through their own journey and their own process. And it was, what's his name? Peter someone. Um, Bloody hell, I can't remember his name. He's known as the mind architect online. Lino, have you heard of him?
No.
Oh, okay. Well,
Mm-mm.
we were on a call with him, like he was doing a speech and whatnot, a bit of Q&A. And he just said, I don't remember exactly what he said, but it was along the lines of what he always says, what happened has happened and couldn't happen any other way because it didn't. Basically, accept that she's on her own journey, accept that this is what is chosen for her. This is the journey that she needs to be on for her own evolution. And it doesn't match your journey. And that can be really disheartening. That can be really confusing and confronting. But your job is to just love her and be there for her on the journey that she's on and accept that it's the right thing for her, even if you don't understand it right now. And I think a lot of parents struggle with allowing their kids to do that. And specifically in the space of gender exploration, a lot of fears come up for parents. They go,
Mm-hmm.
why can't they be normal? Why can't like this kid be like his brother and blah, blah, blah? Or why do they feel like they need to transition and do these things and yada, yada? And it can be really confusing. It can be really confronting, and it brings up a lot of fears. And ultimately, I think the parents just want their kids to be safe.
Oh, sure.
Even when we come at it from the perspective of there are two genders, and if you do this, so you're going against God and blah, blah, blah. Even that, they just want their kids to be safe. They're just trying to do what they know in their own worldview is the right thing for them. And if it's being right by God in their views or whatever, they want their kids to be that too because they don't want their kids to go to hell. They don't want their kids
Mm-hmm.
to yada yada.
And I want to bring back up what we were talking about last week.
Mm,
That is traumatic. That is
yeah,
harmful. That
yeah,
damages somebody for a lifetime. So
absolutely.
we can say, yeah, these people are trying to do their best and they're trying to do what they believe is best for their kids. That doesn't mean that it doesn't leave marks.
Intent matters, but intent does not negate impact.
Good way to put that. Thank you. Can I read something
Mm,
actually from Meg here? Um, it says Megling25. I happen to know all these people's names. It's kind of funny. But let me read something from Meg because I think it's, as far as I know, she's the only person here with actual transgender children.
oh,
I'm a
okay.
parent who transitioned, but I don't have. All right, so Meg says, my experience from my, which by the way, hi Meg, hopefully you're still here. Says, my experience for myself and other trans parents she's spoken to, when your child comes out to you, you have a shiny ball of light in your mind that is your child. Oh, sorry, like in your child when they come out as trans to you, like you have a shiny ball of light in your mind that this is your child as you know them. That sounds similar, Lino, right?
Yeah.
And the new trans child is a point of light in your mind. And slowly the ball gets smaller, the ball of light gets smaller, and the point of light grows to become the ball as you accept your child's new identity. And apparently, other people say this can take on the order of a couple of years. But you will never forget the history of your child, but you learn to embrace your child's true self. And for a while, you try to hold both kids in your mind, but eventually you let go unconsciously, and the misgendering ends, and you truly see your kid and embrace your child as is. I
That's
think that's how
beautiful.
it should be. Yes, totally think that's how it should be. So beautiful. Thank you, Meg.
Yeah, thank you, Meg.
Just gave me a nice little realization of something I'd love to do.
Ooh, write it down. So Grief
I'm
Foundation
gonna.
also says Grief Foundation is a parent. I don't know how many other parents are out there, by the way, but Grief Foundation says he's a parent. His kid knows what sexy is, and he can express and explore as far as he wants
Easy.
within reason. Don't think there's a need for each sex to take on stereotypes. I gotta agree. You know, we take on stereotypes, but those are social norms. And I think those social norms end up being safety, which is exactly what Jasmine was talking about, whatever, 5 minutes ago. So, do you have a poem? Do you want to do a poem, Lino?
I don't have one today. I always have one. I mean, I could share any random one.
I don't. Yeah, it's up to you if you want to. If you want to write one or whatever. But um, I do want to point out just because I don't want to I don't like letting this kind of thing go. We had somebody come in who calls themselves Nicey Naturals Homestead, asserting there are only two genders, being a carnivore is awesome. This is ridiculous. May God have mercy on our souls because we're grooming children and it's gross. And so I just, this is why we continue to do shows like this. Nicey. I mean, I actually dropped a comment that said, "Well, God us bless Nicey who came in and criticized us." Maybe I didn't need to be quite so salty, but like this is why we do these things, right?
Well, I'm confused. Somebody just commented that
Yeah, those were the
on our
things.
on our on our
Yes,
show right now.
yeah,
Oh,
and we'll
that's
get
okay.
trolls. It happens, but
That's all right.
But
yeah, I
you know
mean,
what? I
no,
love this. I love that kind of comment
oh,
just
misspelled
because
bless,
it highlights exactly what we're talking about.
doesn't
That
it?
kind of black and white thinking and that strong adherence to my way is the right way and your way is wrong. That's what causes the majority of issues, not just for trans kids, for any
For
kids.
every
Yeah.
kid, yes,
Yeah.
right. So
That's the exact kind of thing that we're talking about. That's the one extreme end. The other extreme end, I think people would see is like, um, you know, what was it Margie who said no gender, wait till they tell us? Like people
yeah,
would view
yeah,
that as the other extreme end,
right,
typically.
right.
One offers a lot of structure in a way that could be helpful and in a way that could be extremely detrimental. And the other offers a lot of flexibility. And I think there's similar upsides and drawback potentials because what parents are concerned about with that side, which is unfortunately what they focus on instead of the other side, is oh, they're going to go to school and then they're going to be confused because the other kids all have this predetermined cookie cutter structure that's been given to them.
A nicey natural
And then
sort of
they're
a
going to be
personality. Yeah.
confused. And I would argue that that is actually true. That is true. They probably will be a little bit confused and go, oh, I'm being brought up different to the majority of people here. But it would allow them to get their own sense of identity so much quicker than all those other kids. It would
Oh
allow
yeah.
them to see both
Absolutely.
sides of it and go,
Yeah.
which one is right for me? And that's ultimately what we want for kids. We want
Yeah.
kids to decide what is right for them. Talking about
Yeah.
trans issues and having kids be aware that trans people exist, we don't want to turn kids trans. We want trans kids who are already freaking trans kids, speaking as someone who was a trans kid. We want them to see that it's okay for them to exist in the way that they are.
Right.
That is ultimately what this whole freaking thing is about. Whether it's about transness or it's about anything else, we want kids to be able to decide for themselves and to see both sides of those equations, to experience the confusion that they likely will have. They're going to be confused over here when they're deciding what's going to be best for them. And they're going to be confused over here if they go, wow, this whole thing about if I don't do this thing, I'm going to end up in hell doesn't really seem right to me. They're going to be confused either way. It's whether you allow them to explore and find who they are and accept who they are, or whether you tell them that they're wrong. That's all I'll say on that. Mic drop.
Yeah, well, it's true. I mean, there's no right or wrong. There's only clarity.
Yeah.
But I always tell my students too, there's no right or wrong. Just clarity.
And it's not a bad thing for kids to experiment and to
No.
find who they are. The sooner they do that, the sooner they will be able to love their authentic selves. It's not going to turn them any one way or another.
Right.
It'll allow them to find who they are authentically and love themselves sooner.
Agreed. Agreed. It's that binary thinking that it's if you don't do what I do, then you're wrong, and you're gonna hurt. That I think is the problem. We're a little bit over time. Um, I do want to say I did appreciate the idea that too much flexibility can be difficult. Too much
Yeah.
flexibility can be difficult
Yeah,
because
absolutely.
what it does is make us have to deal with the flexibility, I guess is the best way to put it. We have to make these choices. We have to do that exploration on our own. And that's not easy, but but I think
And
it
giving
brings us to a
kids
better place.
no guidance,
Yeah.
like giving kids no guidance can be as detrimental as giving them so much guidance that you're the helicopter parent that decides
Right.
everything they do.
Right.
I talk to people in coaching all the time who come to me with parents that are like so overbearing with their kids that
Right.
they feel like they can't do anything. They overthink constantly because they think, oh, well, my parent would always control everything. And then they go out into the world as an adult and they seek that. Sometimes they seek abusive relationships, they seek
Yeah.
like job environments where they're treated like crap because they feel like that's the structure that they needed because that's how the parent brought them up.
Mm-hmm.
It's whoa. It's
It doesn't make
crazy.
sense. No.
Mm.
Let me read one more comment, and then I think we can let it shut down. And I wanted to read
Oh, I
this
want to talk
comment.
more.
I know. If we probably should have talked about this earlier on, but so here's the comment. Miss Chief says she is more evil. She listens to Bon Jovi playing backward. I think that's pretty dang evil. There you go.
Yeah, straight to hell for that one, I must
Yeah,
say.
straight to hell. Straight to hell. So,
Oh, God.
There's a clothing company called Straight to Hell. I have a pair of jeans from them.
oh my gosh, that sounds
This
awesome.
that I'd share. Yeah, some
Yeah.
rock and roll. I've got some. They're like black. Actually, they're my brothers. They're like some black bell bottoms with buttons down on the side. They're pretty badass. Straight to Hell
Hey. Yeah.
Clothing.com. Yeah.
Straight to hellclothing.com.
And
SAFM.
Oh my gosh, that would actually work quite well. Say it that way.
Right? All right.
Hmm.
Do you want to bring us home, Lino? Do you want to do the outro there?
I don't have it in front of me.
I probably
Can
don't
I
either.
float an idea real quick?
Okay,
Okay.
float the idea.
Should we, I want to know from the people in the chat,
Ooh, yeah.
should we pretend that we've ended the stream just once and just chat like we normally do afterwards and see if there's a difference?
Yeah.
Yeah? I'm just curious. Like if we just like close the chat and just pretend it doesn't exist and we're just, I don't know if that would be a challenge.
I don't know. Do you because I mean, I
What do
can
y'all
just like
think?
put down Streamlabs and just go, yeah, we're more or less done. And then we just prattle for 10 minutes. But
Yeah, I'm just curious.
Outtakes?
Sure, why not?
Curious.
all right.
It's
Well, here we
fun.
go.
It's called creativity.
Yeah.
Creativity is creation in motion. Let's
Yeah.
get some creation in motion.
There you go.
Okay, okay.
All right. Well, anyway, thank you, everybody. We'll see you next
Yeah.
week.
See you next week.
Oh, we'll still do the outro.
Oh,
I don't think
Oh
we had the
gosh.
outro. That was the thing.
I don't have it.
See?
Got it in front of me. I can do the
Oh, do it
outro.
then. Okay, go ahead.
I want to talk. I want to talk and talk and talk. And we can all talk. We love talking. That's why we talk. That's not the general outro that we do, but we can talk. If you have any requests for future topics, please let us know. I've loved seeing the interaction in the chat today. If there's anything that's come up for you that you're like, I want to dive in on this deeper, please put it in the chat and we just may discuss it next week. And we'll shout you out for the idea as well. So you'll be famous because we have so many viewers on here. So thank you for joining in on the conversation. We think you are a pretty freaking cool human for wanting to focus on our shared humanity. We're sending you lots of love. And we will see you next week.
Yeah. Thank you so much,
And then
everyone.
we'll just continue on and pretend that we just ended the stream.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, I totally clicked it. Yeah, I totally clicked the end stream button.
Okay, we've clicked end stream.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm going to do too? Because it'll be funny. I think in the middle, just like in the middle of some sentence, one of us can be talking about something and I'll just hit end stream and people will be like, oh, was that it? Oh, that was it. Okay. Would have preferred a little bit of a... I thought that was good. We had some great insights on that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like them.
So much more that I want to talk about with that.
I know.
I've just closed the YouTube. I'm going to try to pretend. The expectations piece is a really big one for me because I think,
Which expectations piece?
Parents.
well, I think I have pretty high expectations of people in general. And I think
Oh,
any
oh,
of
that. Sorry.
any
What do
of
you
my
mean?
coaching clients will
What do
know
you mean?
this.
Wait, what do you mean you have high expectations of people?
Well, I'm thinking of my partner, for example, like when she's not living up to her potential,
Uh-huh.
I I tweak out. I'm like, you can do so much better than this. Like I know you can, and I know you have the ability to do this. And it's like, I want you to rise to your potential. Like that's where it comes
Mm-hmm.
from.
Mm-hmm.
But also that can be really overbearing.
Mm-hmm.
Mm,
That can feel really crappy. So
It can. But I mean, I can definitely, I kind of feel the same way. I kind of do that with my girlfriend too sometimes, you
mm,
know, but I think that, I mean, I really think that it comes from a place of love because when we see people's potential, like we want them to, when we see something that they don't see,
mm,
it's like we want to see it faster and we want to see more of it.
yeah.
right.
And
Yeah. And it's
so,
like, why don't you see this? Like
yeah,
you're
right.
capable. Do the things.
Yeah, so we become a little impatient on that and forget that they're also on their own journey. But also sometimes I
Mm,
feel like what if we don't say anything? Like how do we know that if we're all here ultimately to become a better version of ourselves and to help each other expand, maybe the things that we tell them are we're meant to tell them to push them, and maybe this is also part of our life contract, and maybe that's why we feel pushed to tell these people that these things to help them see their better. We're not trying to push them to be their worst selves. We're trying to push them to be their best selves. And also because we're, especially if we're doing the work, we're like, hey, I can do it. I know, you can do it too. You know, so it's like, if anything, we're trying our best to motivate. And what if we never did that at all? I mean, what kind of partner would we be if we didn't do that at
Yeah,
all?
it's a good point.
yeah.
D-
I just worry about being overbearing because it's like, I don't know, it seems to be a common thing, particularly in hetero relationships, where it's like if a man hasn't been brought up to carry his weight in terms of like chores and things like that, there's this perception of like the nagging girlfriend that yada yada. And I feel like I kind of tip into that a bit. But anyway, that's a whole bloody another thing. I wanted to mention as well, we're talking about all this parenting stuff, and it's my mum's death anniversary
oh,
today.
Oh,
I only
wow.
realized just before it's been 6 years.
Oh, whoa.
how are you
Mm,
doing?
I'm okay. Like it's actually, I feel the least affected than I have every other year
Mm,
because a lot of the time, yeah, the grief comes in waves. It'll be like, because she was really accepting of me. She was in my corner. She was like my biggest freaking cheerleader. Sometimes a bit too much, I think. Like, you can do anything ever. You want to be like a superstar on the stage over here, blah, blah, blah. I believe in you. You can do it, but just a lot. So I don't know. I'm feeling more gratitude without the grief today, which is good.
that is.
Thankfully, because I don't want to, like, my head has still been, ugh. And I think if I were to cry as much as I normally freaking do about that, oh my goodness, it would be a headache. But yeah, it's a big week of anniversaries this week, actually. It's like mum's death anniversary today. Tomorrow is the anniversary of leaving my cushy government job and like going out on my own. And then it's Winter's HRT anniversary on Saturday. It's like so many anniversaries.
And it happens every
Yeah.
year. That's what's
Yeah,
Mm.
weird
right.
about it. They
Yeah.
always seem to
Yeah.
be clustered every year. It's crazy. But
Oh, but in the stream as well, I wanted to talk about because you kind of asked me briefly when my parents accepting and stuff. And my mum definitely was, if a bit clueless. My dad never met me.
oh no. Okay.
Because he passed away when I was 11, and then mum passed away when I was 21.
Yeah.
So it's like, yeah, I don't know. I feel like there's something in that, but Because I know there's a lot of people who feel similar kind of way around that.
Mm.
Where they feel like their parents never met them. Yeah, it's interesting.
Well, now that you bring that up, because I was gonna
Mm.
say I have a there's I have envy, I guess it is. I'm very envious that you have that any kind of a relationship with your mother like that, and that Lino, you can go to a family reunion and it's normal. Because like at this point, literally, I mean, my father died before I transitioned, and my mother, who's still alive, the last time she saw my face was, I mean, I was 3, 4 months, what, 4 months, I guess, 4 months, of almost 5 months on HRT. Um, so she's literally never seen me. So I don't know. In some ways, I was like, oh, I'm really jealous that the two of you have any vague semblance of a connection to your family. Because I don't,
Mm.
feel really. I
You
mean, I talked to
know,
my sister earlier, but what's
Yeah.
that, Lino?
I'll say that jealousy usually comes from it's a feeling that is invoked in regards to us feeling that we will never have something like that.
Yeah.
So
Oh,
is that
sure.
something you want to have?
Well, I mean, we
What?
what?
Sorry.
No, what?
That just, I want to write down an idea for a future episode.
Okay.
Jealousy versus envy, because I think they're two separate things.
That's a
And
good
it's a
one.
very common thing for trans people to feel either jealous or envious of like cis people or other trans people they think are further along than them or whatever.
Mm,
Sure.
Do you reckon that'd be a good thing to talk about?
I think so.
maybe
Okay, I'm going to
if
write it
there's a
down.
good
Sorry, continue.
distinction. Oh, if there's a good distinction, but I mean, do I feel I'm never gonna get it? Do I feel I never had it? I mean, obviously, I will never talk to my father. My father will never see Amethysta. My father never saw her kid. Um,
I
so I
mean,
mean,
if you're not spiritual,
well, sure, no, agreed. I mean,
I know what you're saying though. But I do really feel that a lot of people's perspectives will change when they do come more into a spiritual alignment.
oh, I agree. No, I agree.
Yeah, and just
Ooh,
remember that we are spiritual beings having a human experience. So,
yeah. I was gonna follow on that, and I never did because you had said, oh, that we choose our family,
uh
and there was a conversation. I don't know if you two do this. Oftentimes when I'm sitting doing something mindless, like I was doing my nails today. Okay, I was applying new nail polish, and so I'm thinking in my head about conversations that actually will never happen. Do you ever do this? Have conversations with people
Doing
who,
your nails?
not necessarily when you're doing your nails, but have conversations with people
sure.
without them being there. And all right, here's the point. I'm just gonna
I
stop
do it all the
talking.
time.
Okay, good. So I'm having this conversation with my three sisters in my head,
Mm.
and because the thought that occurred to me was that both of my parents, how did I think of it? Both of my parents were unable to stop some of the problems that they had, whatever the
Mm.
problems were. But all four of us must not have been. All four of us must have had some sort of characteristic that allows us to stop it or to change it or redirect it, whatever it might have been. And something that's within just us, because I would agree with you, Lino, that the universe put that family together for a purpose. That the
Yeah.
four of
Wait,
us
are
were
you
in.
saying all four of you are like the pattern breakers, generational cycle
Sure,
breakers?
like that
Yeah.
pattern. I mean, if you want to put it like
I
that, pattern
love
breakers.
generational pattern breakers. They're my favorite people. That's why I love them.
Well, I would say the four of us had the capability, because I don't know that I would
Yeah.
say that each of us necessarily would do it. There are other
Mm.
situations in our lives, but the idea that the universe puts us together so that it can improve, because I don't think the universe would do something sort of randomly. You just go, I don't know, throw a bunch of people. What do we got? Six? We got six together. I don't know. Put them in a pot, mix them up. Go ahead. You're a
Mm.
family. I don't think the universe would do that. I think the universe would go, ooh, two people came together. Then we're going to have to mitigate this in some way. And so we had
Mm.
four children. capable of breaking some of these patterns. Because if there is
Absolutely.
one
Cool.
thing that I swore I would never do to my son, it would be hit him. Because my father was
Mm.
very physically abusive. And I swore I would never do that. There was one time that I got angry and actually just like threw my kid's bike helmet. And he sat down and cried. And I just went, oh my God. I mean, I didn't even hit him. But I went over to him and I
Mm.
just put my arms around him. I'm going to cry again now. But I put my arms around him. I'm like, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. That's not who I am. I'm so sorry.
No, it's not who you are.
So I am going to cry. Shit. And I keep on misgendering them too, which is killing me. So anyway, yeah, I think we do get stuck into these situations, and it's like we get stuck into them because we're the ones who can change them, or it's in some way. So
Yeah, absolutely.
yeah,
Interestingly, I don't think that's an objective truth, but I think it's probably the most constructive belief you could choose to have. Like that's how I view it. Because people will say that kind of stuff to me all the time. I'm like, no, I was put in that situation. I wouldn't wish it on my worst enemy and yada yada. And I'm like, same. Like I think two things can be true at the same time. No one should ever have to put up with that. I wouldn't wish it on my worst enemy. And it's been the source of my greatest growth. Like bullying
right.
through childhood, for example. It's like I was talking to someone the other day who had really intense bullying through their childhood. I wouldn't be able to understand that if I hadn't experienced it. So I can
True.
empathize with them on a much deeper level because of those experiences. Did that happen for a reason so that I could do that? Yes, I believe that to be true. But I recognize that I'm choosing that belief. I
Mm-hmm.
could choose to believe that no, that didn't happen for a reason. It was horrible. I'll never, blah, blah, blah. I could choose to believe that. Wouldn't help anyone. Wouldn't help me. Wouldn't help anyone else around me. So I believe in choosing the most helpful belief, basically, on a very practical level. The other belief isn't helpful.
I think there's a difference though between
Mm,
I think there's a difference. How I want to put it between destiny and fate, because I mean destiny and fate and what I'm talking about.
mhm,
What you're talking about is the universe has this whole thing planned out, and that I don't believe. I think each of us
mm,
has, the capability to choose, and um, the universe in general wants to trend upward, and so
mm,
they'll stick to, my two parents for some reason chose to be together, and I think the universe went, oh God, they're going to be horrible parents, just terrible parents. We better send them children who are going to be capable, who are going to be strong enough to handle
mm,
this horrible of a parent and still be able to make it through. And maybe not even be horrible parents themselves. And so they sent four souls. And I'm not saying all four of us, have mitigated all of the effects of my parents, because we haven't. We can look at all four of us and go, we're still struggling, but we mitigated at least some of what occurred to us, and that's all I mean.
yeah.
It still took our choices to be able to mitigate those. I think it was a
Mm,
capability that what we see is a not a plan, but rather a um, like a chess game. My two
yeah.
parents put a pawn in rook six. I don't know how to say these things, but somebody put a pawn in rook six, and so the universe went, "Oh crap, hang on, let me take a queen, and we'll and we'll call her Robert," and stuck that on the board, and you know,
Oh my gosh.
I think we
Now,
should choose that.
yes, that's amazing. There was something I wanted to mention to you. Well, there was a couple of things. I wanted to check with the website and see how that's going, but also,
Oh yeah,
um, I wanted to ask you two, would you be willing to beta read the manuscript? I mean, Amethyst, I kind of asked you, but
yeah. I
Lino,
already said yeah.
I would love your thoughts as well. I've got, gosh, it's 67,000 words at the moment, or 77,000.
That's a good
For what?
sized book, yeah.
Yeah, like it's a manuscript for a book that I'm writing,
Okay.
and it's very much self-help, psychological based, and I would love your perspectives, like to just give me an idea of what hits right, what do you think is confusing? Um, is it easy to read? Is there any parts that drag and like makes my attention wander? I've got like a few questions like that I want people to kind of go through and just rate each chapter. Would y'all be willing to do that?
How many chapters is it? How many pages?
Oh my goodness. Yeah.
280 to maybe running on
Um,
300.
I don't really
mm,
feel I'll be fast at it. It might take me some time only because summer school
mm.
starts this Saturday for
Yeah,
me.
of course.
Ooh, and you got
Yeah.
And
three classes, right?
well, actually, I had three classes originally, but I'm back down to two.
Oh,
And
Mm,
okay.
yeah, but still, even with two, like for example, I